Okay, everyone, get ready because today we're going deep, really deep into Scrum.
Scrum.
Yeah, we're breaking down this podcast script we found,
Okay.
and it's all about like Scrum for product people,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
perfect because like who isn't on a product team these days? Right?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's trying to figure out this whole product management thing.
Totally. So this script, it's like it's trying to give you the inside track on like how to use Scrum, especially if you're the product person in the room.
You're right. And it's interesting because they're not just like, here's Scrum, go do it. It's more like they're trying to break down how to think about it, especially for people who, might be new to it or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that because there's so much jargon out there.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So the script, it starts out like
Yeah.
right out the gate, what is Scrum? And like, more importantly, why should I even care?
It's a great question, isn't it?
The best question.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know why you're doing something,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
just like, why are we even
Kind of
here?
going through the motions.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
So they make this really cool comparison. They're like, imagine you're building a house, right?
Okay.
You got the blueprint. You know exactly what's going where.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now imagine you're doing a giant puzzle
Okay.
and you don't have the box. You don't know what it's going to look like when it's done.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
Right. But that's kind of like, that's Scrum.
So it's more experimental.
Way more experimental.
Yeah.
And like they're saying that's perfect for today's world because things change so fast.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like you can't always know everything up front, right?
Absolutely not. Especially in the tech world, everything's moving so quickly.
Totally. So if you're in a job, if you're doing a project where like the finish line might move or, you're not really sure what you're building until you start building
You
it.
got to be able to adapt.
This is it. This is the way to go. Okay, so let's get into it, right?
Yeah, let's dive in.
What are like the big pieces of this Scrum puzzle?
All right, so the script talks about sprints, which is a word you hear a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and backlogs, which honestly, when I first heard that, I was like, what is a backlog?
Sounds terrifying.
Right. And then this thing called the definition of done,
Oh, that's interesting.
which is so important, and we can talk more about that. But basically,
Yeah, no, let's break it down, right? So sprints, first of all.
okay, so sprints, think of them like mini projects, like within the big project.
Huh.
So you're breaking down this huge thing you're trying to do into smaller, manageable chunks,
Okay.
and then you focus on each sprint, like one at a time.
I like that. It's like less overwhelming.
Exactly. You're not trying to boil the ocean all at once.
And you get to like actually finish something, which is always nice.
Yeah, there's that sense of accomplishment, which is huge for motivation and all that.
Totally, totally. All right, so then backlogs. This sounds scary. What is a backlog?
So think of it like this. You have this big master to-do list, right?
Okay.
That's your product backlog. It's like every single thing you could ever imagine wanting to do on this project.
Okay.
But then you have your sprint backlog.
Oh, there's two.
Yeah, so the sprint backlog is like what you're actually going to work on during this specific sprint.
Got it. So it's like the mini to-do list for the mini project.
Exactly. It helps you stay focused,
Focus, love it.
And this is where the definition of done comes in, which is so key.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is this definition of done?
It's basically like everyone on the team agreeing on what done actually means.
Well, that's a good idea.
Because done can mean different things to different people, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sure.
So this way, there's no ambiguity. You're not arguing about whether something is 90% done or actually finished.
Oh, so it's like setting clear expectations from the get-go.
Exactly. And that saves so much time and hassle down the road.
I love it. All right, so we got our sprints, we got our backlogs, we know what done means. Who are the players? Like who's on this Scrum team? And they talk about these like roles, right?
Yeah, roles and responsibilities, like who does what on a Scrum team.
Right, because it's not just like throw a bunch of people in a room and say Scrum, right?
Exactly. You need some structure, some organization.
Totally. So who are these Scrum superstars?
Well, first up, you've got your product owner.
Okay, the big cheese.
Kind of, but not really. They're more like the voice of the customer, you know?
Oh, so they make sure the team's building the right thing.
Exactly. They're laser focused on value, making sure every sprint delivers something awesome for the user.
I like it. So they're like the compass, always pointing towards what the customer needs.
That's a great way to put it. Then you've got your Scrum Master.
Ooh, this one sounds important.
They are, but they're not like a traditional project manager.
No.
No. They're more like a facilitator, a coach, A cheerleader, even.
Wait, a cheerleader?
Yeah. They're all about keeping the team motivated, removing roadblocks, and making sure everyone's working together smoothly.
So, like, part therapist, part project ninja.
Exactly. They're there to help the team be the best Scrum team they can be.
I like it. Okay, so we've got the product owner, we've got the Scrum Master,
And of course, you can't forget the development team.
the ones who actually, like, build the thing.
Exactly. But it's not just developers, you know?
Oh, right.
You need designers, testers, writers, anyone who's essential to getting the product out the door.
So it's a real mixed bag of skills.
Exactly. It's all about having all the right people in the room to get the job done.
I love it. Okay, so we've got our A-team assembled, everyone's in their roles, but how do they actually, like, work together? Is it just chaos?
Not at all. That's where the Scrum ceremonies come in.
Ceremonies. This sounds serious.
It's not as scary as it sounds, I promise.
Okay, so what are these ceremonies all about? So these ceremonies, are we talking like full moon rituals? Are we sacrificing anything? I'm a little worried.
Oh, gosh, no. No sacrifices required. It's much more practical than that, I promise.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's really just about, like, structured check-ins, you know, to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Okay, so less like mystical ceremony, more like team meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, think of it like that. Team meetings with a purpose.
Okay, I get behind that.
Yeah.
So what are these, what do they call them?
They call them, let me see, sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, and then sprint retrospective.
Okay, 4 main ones, got it. Sprint planning. That sounds like, I don't know, we're planning our sprint.
Basically, yeah. It's where the team, you know, including that product owner we talked about, they get together at the beginning of each sprint.
Okay.
And they hash out, like, what are we actually going to do during these next 2 weeks or however long your sprint is.
So it's like setting the goals for the sprint.
Exactly.
Right.
Figuring out priorities, how they're going to approach the work, who's doing what, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it's like getting everyone literally on the same page before you start sprinting.
Exactly. Yeah. No one's running off in different directions or anything.
Love it, love it. Okay, what about this daily stand-up? That sounds kind of intense. Like, are we doing jumping jacks?
No jumping jacks required. It's actually really simple.
Okay.
Basically, the team just has a quick, like, stand-up meeting, usually first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And everyone just shares, like, what they worked on yesterday, what they're planning to work on today, and if they have any, like, roadblocks or anything.
Also, it's like a quick pulse check to make sure everyone's, like, you know, moving in the right direction.
Exactly. It's all about communication and transparency, you know, so no one feels stuck or like they're struggling in silence.
I love that.
Oh.
Okay, what about this sprint review thing?
Okay, so the sprint review is where the team gets to, like, show off what they accomplished during the sprint.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, they do a demo, gather feedback from stakeholders, you know, maybe the product owner's there, maybe some other people from the company. And it's a chance to, like, celebrate successes, you know, get everyone excited about the progress that's been made.
So like a little team bonding moment.
Exactly. And also a chance to course correct if needed, you know, if the feedback's like, oh, this isn't really what we had in mind.
Right, right. So it's like celebrate the wins, but also like make sure we're still on track.
Exactly. Yeah, a little bit of both. And then finally, you have the sprint retrospective.
Okay, and this one sounds kind of, I don't know, deep.
It is a little bit more introspective, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's basically a time for the team to, like, reflect on the sprint that just happened.
Okay.
And talk about what went well, what could have gone better, you know, what did they learn, that kind of thing.
So even if the sprint like wasn't perfect, there's always something to learn from it.
Exactly. It's all about continuous improvement, you know, always trying to get better with each sprint.
Okay, I like that. So it's like celebrate the wins, course correct if you need to, and then always be learning.
Exactly. That's Scrum in a nutshell.
I love it. Well, this has been awesome. We've gone deep on Scrum, broken down all the key parts.
We've had our own little sprint through Scrum, you could say.
I love it. And, you know, the best part is, like, this isn't just for software development or product teams, right? These ideas, these principles, they can apply to so many different things.
Absolutely. Anytime you're working on a project, you know, where things might change, where you need to be flexible and adaptable, Scrum can be a game changer.
So for everyone listening, think about it. Where in your life could you use a little bit of Scrum? Could you use it to finally organize that junk drawer? Could you use it to plan your next vacation? The possibilities are endless.
Now that you mention it, my to-do list could definitely use a Scrum makeover.
It's everywhere. All right, that's it for today's deep dive. Until next time, happy sprinting, everyone.